When do you think that the public is going to really feel an impact from your moves to rein in the cost of living? How long will that take?
I think we are going to see a substantial acceleration in the economy in the second quarter, and I think we are also we're already seeing on many prices. As I said, we're bending that curve down, and the increase in real incomes. I think Americans are going to feel it in the first quarter, second quarter. I think 2026. Thanks to President Trump's signature plans, is going to be a great year for working Americans, for the markets. I call it parallel prosperity. Main Street and Wall Street can both do great, but I think Main Street's going to have a great year in 2026.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has an optimistic outlook on the 2026 economy when President Trump's big, beautiful bill takes effect. I want to bring in, for a Sunday Morning Fusion exclusive, a key member of the House Financial Services Committee, Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. He's also running for governor in the state of Florida. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm great. So I want to ask you about this because Republican strategist Karl Rove had an op-ed where he talked about how the Republicans can better message the economy and the strong economy that we expect to see in 2026 and that we have seen in 25. And he says basically that we have to patiently explain, talks about the Republicans, what the Trump administration has done, in particular when it comes to health care, in a way that the American people can understand and comprehend, whether it's on the energy side or the health care side. What is that messaging going to look like for you?
A couple of very direct points. Gas prices are down. Energy prices are coming down. Inflation's under control. Wages adjusted for inflation are up and they are rising. That helps people feel more wealthy in the economy today, as opposed to what was happening under Joe Biden when wages were adjusted for inflation were down. People were having more money go out of their pocket and getting less goods and less services. That's not the recipe for success. I think the GDP report that just came out, 4.2 number, well over the estimates. That's going to give the Federal Reserve, I think, more data in order to continue to cut rates, which are going to help people buying their first home or refinancing their current home to then decrease the cost of their borrowing or getting a new car, whatever the case might be. All these different pieces of news and information about the Trump economy is going to let middle-income families, working families in our country realize that they have more purchasing power. When you have more purchasing power, you feel more wealthy. You feel the economy is going in the right direction. Well, that needs to be our message consistently. And then when you get to tax policy, it's really going to open up from there.
And the Secretary has talked about that as well, about $1,000 to $2,000 in additional tax refund money going into the pockets of the American people. Health care is a big one. Obviously, nothing was done on health care before the recess began, the holiday break. One of the things that my colleague Chad Pergram points out about what's happening on the House side of this is the frustration with the party's efforts in general to address the health care issue. Those subsidies are set to expire this week. Florida, according to data, would be the hardest hit when it came to the expiration of those subsidies. You're running for governor in the state of Florida. This is obviously an important message for you. What do you want to see happen? Do you support even a one-year extension of these subsidies? What would you support? A health savings account? What would it be? What does this look like? Because the calendar is short for January.
Listen, before you even talk about subsidies, we have to do a complete overhaul of the Affordable Care Act. It's unaffordable for Floridians, unaffordable for every American that's in these exchanges. And why is it unaffordable? It's unaffordable because when the Democrats created this monstrosity, they turned health care over to the health insurance companies. The subsidies go directly to the health insurance companies. And then they created all of these mandates and this regulatory leviathan that only increases the cost of health care and health insurance. So my position is let's revamp the entire regulatory framework of the Affordable Care Act. The whole thing that's in there needs to go. The subsidies that go to health insurance companies, those need to go into HSA accounts for the American people. So the American people can use those dollars to purchase health care as opposed to going in direct subsidies to the health insurance companies. I think if you do those two things, you do what the president's been talking about, most favored nation status on drugs. You also bring in stuff that we passed a couple weeks ago in the House, association health plans. So you have small business owners, 1099 employees. They could actually group together, create a larger group so they can actually get cheaper health insurance. There's ways to do this. But before you start talking about subsidies, we have to fix the underlying problem. It's a problem created by Democrats. Now they're trying to campaign as they're the saviors of it. But subsidies by themselves are not going to solve this problem. Subsidies by themselves are only going to further increase the cost of care, because every time the government subsidizes something, it gets more expensive, not less. So we got to fix it now, and it's on Republicans to do that.
Well, you do have some colleagues in the House that are facing difficult races come November, Congressman Mike Lawler being one of them. So I think getting everybody on the same page is certainly going to be a big piece of the work you're going to be doing when you return to Washington. Congressman Byron Donalds, thank you so much for being here. It's great to see you, sir.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.